Thank you, Nader, and I appreciate hearing from every speaker who has spoken so far. I learned so much
Thank you.
about their um, political understanding, legal perspective, or institutional expertise towards rebuilding Gaza and putting things in context, which is the point that I will start with. Um, by introduction, I am Nihad Awad. I am a Palestinian myself. I am a refugee. My family was forcibly displaced in 1948. Many of my family members ended up in Jordan, where I was born, in a refugee camp. Others ended up in other cities in Palestine, including Gaza. So, for the people of Gaza, the genocide and the looming threat of ethnic cleansing that has been green lighted by President Trump and has been the dream and a plan in the works by the State of Israel definitely evoke not only memories but also a stain on the face of the world community who not only has not prevented the genocide from starting in 2023 but has even failed to stop the genocide. So what kind of UN or world community, I'm talking about governments, not people, I'll cover the people in a moment. What kind of world powers, including the UN, Western governments, have to say about their will, their moral clarity, standing in front of humanity vis-a-vis one country, the United States, and two presidents, the former President Biden, who declared himself as a Zionist and has put the interest, the assets, the reputation of the United States and its collective experience on the line in the service of a genocidal regime to maim, annihilate, and destroy civilization, inhabitants, and people and their culture and their lives. Uh, and a former and also a current president who on his own demonstrated that he had the power to put pressure outside him being even a president a few days before becoming a president and force uh, the state of Israel and its leader to its knees and accept all the pressure exercised on it to stop the bombing, maiming, and destruction of Gaza. Moving to just less than a month in office and just green lighting again the resumption of the destruction, bombing, and ethnic cleansing of the Palestinians in Gaza. That shows that one country, one president, and their will can paralyze the world community and just can just turn it obsolete, ineffective, and shamelessly incompetent.
Mhm.
So where we are now, as we speak and or would like to speak on rebuilding of Gaza, which I believe this theme maybe was decided before the threat of President Trump to the Palestinian side that if hostages are not released by Saturday noon, the resumption of the genocide will continue. That is where we are. Not even not knowing the magnitude of destruction, the number of people who have been killed or have been maimed or the lost people under the rubble. Even Western media, international organizations have not had the chance to enter Gaza and assess the damage, let alone to see what kind of construction measures or projects are to take place. So I know that rebuilding of Gaza and reconstruction is the subject of today's discussion, but I think the bigger issue is not the reconstruction of Gaza, is really the protection of the ceasefire. That is the challenge before the world community, the Muslim world, the Arab League, and even the promise that President Biden cut on himself in front of Arab American and Muslim American voters who he himself acknowledged they put him in office when they voted for him in the state of Michigan. And he repeated this in his meeting with Jordan's King Abdullah yesterday in the White House. So all of this, I'm just painting this picture of reality that the reconstruction of Gaza is an important subject, but the most timely issue is to keep and protect the ceasefire and not to allow a bloodthirsty uh, leadership in Palestine proper slash Israel from resumption of the bombing and killing and ethnic cleansing, which is really the plan of the state of Israel. And that will endanger uh, the stability and peace in the region. It will even continue to endanger the American interests, reputation, and credibility around the world. Where we are now is there should be more efforts by the Arab governments. We saw one leader who came to the White House, and we saw now a reluctant president of Egypt, even from coming to the U.S. I cannot second guess his decision, but I believe more pressure on the United States should bear to continue to maintain the ceasefire and not to allow the continuation of the genocide against the Palestinian people. And the role of the United Nations, before it talks about rebuilding and reconstruction of Gaza, is to prevent Israel and the United States from making a mockery of international law and international order by allowing the resumption of the genocide in the afternoon of Saturday or Sunday, God forbid. Thirdly, it is important for the Muslim world who the issue of Palestine has been central to its conscience, moral conscience, religious affinity, and also solidarity. This is the time for action. Uh, and the Arab world, who has been noted to be caring about the issue of Palestine, is also to take a serious and constructive action to put the necessary pressure on the United States government to stop green lighting Israel to freely go and redestroy Gaza again. And thirdly, and lastly, it is important for the international community to retake the initiative by putting pressure on the United States and not becoming a primary, direct or indirect complicit in the genocide that may restart this weekend. As far as the reconstruction, and this is my final point, definitely the reconstruction of Gaza is needed. The Palestinians have paid the ultimate price, and the world owns it a debt, not only to rebuild Gaza and put pressure on the United States and Israel to pay, reparation, but also to hold the Israeli leaders criminally in the International Court of Justice, the International Criminal Court, and not be subjected to the threats of the United States and the sanctions through executive order by the President of the United States. The United States, where I am a resident and a citizen of, should not be allowed to make a mockery of international law. The Israeli leaders have to be held criminally, including American leaders who financed, supplied Israel with the necessary tools to create mayhem and create this tragedy and destruction in Palestine. And last thing I would say, it is important for young people around the world, for civil society, to celebrate the progress they made. And individual voices, whether on social media, whether on student campuses, whether in academia, whether in Hollywood, whether in churches, in synagogues. You are the moral compass of the world today. Do not let your governments continue to set the tone for you. You have without having the political power, you have shown the world that the issue of Palestine is central to all of us, and our governments, one day or another, they will heed the call and they will reconsider their position and help liberate the Palestinian people. Thank you.